Hey there, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. Friends, today I'm going to talk to you about Edit-301, which is the continuation of the theme that I have of covering the sickle cell disease therapies. First, we spoke about CRISPR therapeutics and Exa-cel, where I explained how sickle cell disease happens and the importance of BCL11A. And then we spoke about lower cell and how lower cell directly addresses the defect in the beta globin and corrects the hemoglobin formation and creates adult hemoglobin. So those are the two approaches taken to handle sickle cell disease. Today we are going to talk about Edit-301. Edit-301 has an approach more similar to Exa-cel than to lower cell. So I need to do a little bit of revision in the earlier parts of this video for those people who have not seen the first two videos. In case you have not seen my video on Exa-cel and lower cell, just check it in our homepage. It is there. It was the last two videos that I have done. So this will complete the trilogy of sickle cell disease therapies. And yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Friends, let me give you a background. As an infant nears the age of 6 months, BCL11A expression increases, and this process shuts down fetal hemoglobin production, enabling the production of adult hemoglobin, which is HbA. So HbF is shut down and HbA is promoted, and BCL11A is a gene. So the gene expression gets switched on, and it results in the production of HbA and the suppression of HbF, which is fetal hemoglobin. Adult hemoglobin production involves two key parts: HbB, which is hemoglobin subunit beta, and HbA, which is hemoglobin subunit alpha. In people with sickle cell disease, genetic mutations to HbB cause the disease. One way to cure SCD is by fixing the HbB gene defect, and another way is by switching off BCL11A to enable fetal hemoglobin production. HbB, or hemoglobin subunit beta, is a gene that encodes a crucial protein component of hemoglobin, a molecule found in red blood cells responsible for oxygen transport in the bloodstream. HbB is one of the two globin genes that play a central role in hemoglobin production, the other being HbA, that is hemoglobin subunit alpha. So here's how HbB and hemoglobin work in the context of blood disorders like sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. In individuals without these blood disorders, the HbB gene provides instruction for the synthesis of the beta globin subunit, which together with alpha globin subunits produced by HbA genes forms the normal adult hemoglobin, known as hemoglobin A. HbA is responsible for efficiently carrying oxygen throughout the body. In individuals with sickle cell disease, some forms of beta thalassemia, there are genetic mutations in the HbB gene that results in abnormal beta globin subunits. For example, in sickle cell disease, a common mutation leads to the production of hemoglobin S, or HbS, which can cause red blood cells to become misshapen and less able to carry oxygen. In beta thalassemia, various mutations in the HbB gene can result in a reduced or absent production of beta globin subunits, leading to insufficient HbA. These mutations in the HbB gene can lead to significant health problems. In sickle cell disease, for instance, the misshapen HbS molecules can cause red blood cells to become sickle-shaped, leading to pain, organ damage, and other complications. In beta thalassemia, reduced HbA production can result in anemia, fatigue, or other symptoms. Now, when we look at CRISPR therapeutics, Exa-cel, CRISPR therapeutics Exa-cel is comparable to Editas Medicine's Edit-301 because both use the fetal hemoglobin to resolve the SCD problem. While Exa-cel suppresses BCL11A to enable production of fetal hemoglobin and suppression of adult hemoglobin, Edit-301 is developed using a CRISPR-Cas12a ribonucleoprotein to enhance the HGB1/2 promoter region in the beta globin locus of patient-derived hematopoietic stem cells, or HPSCs. Naturally occurring HbF-inducing mutations at the HBG1/2 region support the clinical relevance of using gene editing to enhance the HBG 1/2 promoter. And this strategy has been shown to enhance the red blood cell levels of HbF, that is, increase the fetal hemoglobin production. So here's a deeper dive into how they differ in the implementation of fetal hemoglobin boosting. I'm explaining this in a more simpler terms because what I read earlier was the technical description at the website. So the way I would explain this to a layperson is that for Exa-cel, suppressing BCL11A is sufficient to switch on fetal hemoglobin production. I guess CRISPR Therapeutics made the first dibs on this method, and therefore Editas medicine is achieving the same goal of boosting fetal hemoglobin, but without switching off BCL11A. Now here is how Edit-103 works. The HBG 1/2 promoter region is like a switch that controls the production of a special type of blood protein called fetal hemoglobin, which we already know as HbF. HbF is a protein that babies make a lot when they are in the womb, but in adults, by the time they reach the age of 6, it decreases. So some people have naturally occurring changes in the HBG 1/2 region that cause their bodies to keep making HbF even as adults. Even though they may be 15, 20 or 25 years old, they still make fetal hemoglobin. These changes support the idea that if we control the HbF 1/2 region, we might increase HbF levels, and we should do that by mimicking the natural mutation found in these adult individuals who still produce large quantities of HbF. So Edit-103 mimics those mutations in HbF 1/2 region. It uses CRISPR-Cas12a to make changes in the HBG 1/2 promoter region of certain cells in the body called hematopoietic stem cells. And hematopoietic stem cells are like the parent cells that give rise to all the blood cells, including red blood cells. By modifying these cells with CRISPR-Cas12a, the goal is to turn up the switch in the HBG 1/2 region, which should lead to more human fetal hemoglobin being made as against adult hemoglobin. So Edit-301 is also autologous therapy, and it also needs to use busulfan in order to condition the bone marrow. So it's comparable to Exa-cel in that manner, and there is very encouraging results from phase 1 studies as disclosed recently by Editas. Edit-301 was well tolerated and demonstrated a safety profile consistent with myeloablative conditioning with busulfan and autologous hematopoietic stem cell transplant. This was done on 4 patients in the Ruby trial and the first patient in the Edit-301 trial. After Edit-301 infusion, no serious adverse effects occurred, and no adverse events reported with regard to the treatment with Edit-301. Here is the efficacy data shared by Editas very recently, I think in June of this year. Patient 1 was a male, and he has had 10 months of follow-up, and patient 1's total hemoglobin returned to normal physiological level of 16.4 G by DL, male normal range. Is around 13.6 to 18.0 G by DL. At 5 months after infusion of Edit-301, and has been maintained at this level in the 10-month follow-up period. In addition, patient 1's fetal hemoglobin fraction increased from 5% at baseline to 45.5% 5 months after transfusion with this treatment, and 43.4% at the 10-month follow-up. So it's looking pretty good so far for patient 1. In case of patient 2, is a female. She has had 6 months of follow-up. Patient 2's total hemoglobin reached normal physiological level of 12.7 G by DL. Female normal range is 12.0 to 16.0 at 5 months after infusion of Edit-301, and fetal hemoglobin increased from 10.8% at baseline to 51.3% at the 6 months follow-up. So that's also a good result out there. And patient 3 and patient 4 have had 3 and 2 months of follow-up so far respectively, and increases in total hemoglobin and fetal hemoglobin fractions for patient 3 and 4 are following similar trajectories as seen in patient 1 and 2 at the same time points. So overall, Editas also seem to have very strong candidate for sickle cell therapy. However, Exa-cel and lovo-cel are the early birds and may capture the market by the time Edit-301 gets approval and starts to monetize, because Editas is still in early clinical trials in Edit-301. When it is approved, it will probably have price pressure due to increased competition because of 2 established sickle cell disease therapies. And also, don't forget that Zynteglo is already there for TDT. Exa-cel is there for TDT. So when Edit-301 for TDT comes around, it's going to have a lot of competition there as well. Now let's look at the price chart for Editas before we go further to end the video. Here is the price chart for Editas. As you can see, it closed at 7.15 on Friday, and right now it has it's languishing a bit, I would say, even though the last 2 days have been positive. But if you look at Friday has ended below where it was on the day before, even though the candle is green, which means that it started low and had risen above the starting price. That's why the candle is green. But overall, it has lost minus 0.02% on Friday. The momentum is also below average. The MACD is also weak. And here we have a news item which says Editas Medicine shares jump after Stifel turns bullish. So the article says shares of Editas Medicine rose after Stifel analyst upgraded the stock to a buy rating, citing optimism in the company's strategy for its sickle cell disease therapy and questioning its valuation. The stock was up 16% at $8.01 in early trading. So this was on September 29, okay? Not right now, but this was for September 29. Stifel analysts Day Gonha and Benazir Ali said in a recent research that the genome editing company's progress on Edit-301, its gene editor for sickle cell disease, has gotten minimal credit from investors and deserves a fresh look. The analysts challenged the disconnect between Editas' valuation and that of CRISPR Therapeutics, which is making its own gene editing therapy for sickle cell disease and is at comparable points in development. Noting the company's strong clinical and regulatory strategy for Edit-301 and market receptivity for follow-on gene editing like Edit-301, the analysts upgraded the stock and raised the price target to $17 from $9. So this is what we have in this particular news article out here. I do not agree with their analysis because, first of all, if you look at the cash balance, right, CRISPR Therapeutics has a $1 billion cash balance, more than $1 billion in hand, whereas Editas Medicine has got just $0.43 billion in its balance sheet. If you look at CRISPR Therapeutics alliances and the pipeline, it's much richer than Editas. And also, by the time Editas Edit-301, its lead candidate, gets approved, Exa-cel as well as Bluebird would have captured the TDT and SCD market, and Editas will have to really do a very aggressive price cuts in order to enter the market and get a foothold. So overall, I totally disagree with the analysis of Stifel. However, I'm a retail investor, my friends. What I'm saying is not financial advice. This is my personal opinion and my personal thinking out loud. In this video, I would like to ask you a bunch of questions, and you can reply to that in the comments, because I would like to hear from you as well, and that will help me to understand how you guys think, because I've already told you my opinions through this video, and it's only fair that you give me your honest opinion about what you think about Editas. The first question is, do you have Editas in your portfolio? I don't have Editas in my portfolio. The second question is, what do you think about Edit-301? Do you think it is superior to CRISPR or Bluebird? Do you think it will be able to command as much price as Exa-cel and lovo-cel are likely to do when they launch early next year? So I would like to hear from you on those things. And also the third question is, do you agree with Stifel? Do you think Edit-301 has not been valued properly and therefore Editas is undervalued? Please let me know what you think on all these three questions. With that, I would like to end this video here for now, and I'll catch up with you again. Bye for now.